Let's just jump right into it. All right, for this video, I am going to be sharing one of my workouts. This is a hinge and push pattern focused day. For this video, I'm only going to show the hinge pattern exercises that I did. So this is going to be hip hinge, posterior chain, hamstring focused type day to day. And I will upload the push pattern day next so that you can see it. And if you've been watching my content for a little while now, you hear me talk a lot about the different training tools and things that you can do with your training to add into it so that you can get stronger and move better, right? I've got my flexibility, mobility exercises with like foam rolling, stretching, movement prep, car type exercises, body weight movements, core training, all of the different ways that you can train your core, from the anti-movements to like the phase 2 core, flexion, extension, rotation, lateral flexion, anti-lateral flexion, anti-rotation, blah, 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 blah. All of those different ways you can train your core, your balance training, and then your strength training and your foundational movement patterns. This is going to be foundational movement patterns. So this is just my strength training portion of my workouts. This doesn't include any of the other things. These are going to be more of what you would consider like the traditional, your traditional type gym lifts or gym exercises. And then as time goes on, you'll see some of the different ones. The way I have my training set up is I have specific days where I'm just working more of like the foundational movement patterns, and then I have other days where I'm doing more recovery. So that's going to be more foam rolling, stretching, mobility exercises, body weight movements, core focus day where I'm doing all of those different core patterns. So let's carry on with the hip hinge. This is just going to be my first exercise, so I'm still warming up here. I'm doing supinated deadlifts. There's a lot of different hip hinge variations. With the deadlift, you could do your overhand deadlift. You can do supinated deadlifts. You could do dumbbells, different barbells. You could do staggered stances. There's a lot of different hip hinge deadlift type exercises and variations you can do. The supinated deadlift was my focus today. That's what I wanted to do. I enjoy this because I get a little more external rotation in my shoulders with that supinated grip as opposed to using a pronated or a double overhand deadlift. What the supinated grip does, when you have that external rotation in your shoulders, it's going to allow you to engage some more of your upper back muscles to be able to maintain that position. So there's the way your muscles work when you have your shoulders in external rotation versus internal rotation, like a double overhand deadlift. Your muscles are engaging at different positions to be able to maintain that specific joint angle. When you do it with the supinated deadlift, it's going to help keep your shoulders externally rotated, engaging those muscles so you can keep more tension into your upper back. That's one of the reasons that I enjoy doing the supinated grip deadlift, and just how it feels, right? It's a different position than having that double overhand deadlift, and they just feel good. If you've never done them, I would suggest trying them out. They're really good. And then we get into a little more like power. So now if you notice, I've got my double overhand. So I'm doing clean pulls. These are just some little bit of power exercises. But you can, if you go back and forth between the supinated grip and the double overhand grip, just notice how my shoulders are positioned. Now, I'm going to be building my way into eventually getting to doing power cleans again. I've not been doing them for a little while. So this is just kind of my segue or entryway into them. So I'm still training the hip hinge pattern, but just from that different shoulder position and getting a little more upper body and traps involved as I'm coming up for that high pull. But again, the focus is still the hip hinge itself. So I did the supinated grip deadlift, and then now I changed it up. So now I'm doing clean pulls, which is still a deadlift, but I'm sinking a little lower, getting more into my power clean setup for this exercise. And then I'm just going to round it out with Jefferson curls. So same exercise I did earlier to warm up, but because I'm more fully warmed up, I'm able to touch the ground. If you noticed in the first warm-up sets, I was not touching the ground. And then I shifted to that overhand grip again, just so I can get full, when I'm going into that full spinal flexion, just being able to get that internal rotation, kind of get my whole body rotated in at that position. So now, instead of working the hinge, I'm training and strengthening my hamstrings from an extended knee position. So it's just a different angle to train your hamstrings and get some more lengthening. So strengthening and lengthening them, so that active stretch, but having to use my hamstrings and glutes to be able to come back up and extend my hips, and then also using my low back as well. So those are going to be the 3 exercises that I did for my strength training and hinge patterns for that day. As I said at the beginning, I did do hinges and push pattern exercises. Generally, the way that I set that up, or at least the current way that I'm doing it, is that I'll alternate and do them as supersets. So it'll be like my first hinge exercise, and then I'll do my first push exercise, which would be a horizontal push. And then I would do, my next hinge or hamstring or posterior chain exercise. Then generally I'll do another push exercise. That one, as of now, is usually like a vertical push pattern. So the first one is going to be a horizontal push, something like a push-up or a bench press. And then the second push exercise is going to be a vertical push, so something like a shoulder press. And then my last exercise, I'll go back to like some sort of either a fly or like another horizontal push type variation. And then back to my hinge or hamstring, or I don't know, maybe I'll flip them up. But yeah, so that's really it. That's how I set up my training, just doing, these are the foundational movement patterns. These are just like gym exercises. And as time goes on, I will show you guys the rest of them, but that's going to be it. So thanks for watching.